My name is Shalea MacArthur, and I'm really excited to welcome you to WiseWoman Rising. I'm so excited to start this YouTube channel where I'm going to be talking a lot about women's spirituality and the divine feminine, which is something that's so important to me and I feel like is really important to the world in general right now and to women specifically. I think it's exploring the ways that we connect to the spiritual, to things that are beyond our common daily lives and world. That's something that can be so empowering for women, something that can heal us, something that can change us. And I'm not just talking about religion. Spirituality is something that really crosses all the religious boundaries. It's how we connect to how we see the divine. It's how we connect to our inner selves. It's how we connect to the world around us on more than a physical level. So what does that mean? What does women's spirituality look like? What do I mean when I'm talking about the divine feminine? So let's define a few things, move out of vague territory and into things that have actual meaning and will kind of set us rolling forward. So spirituality. Spirituality is something that has actually a lot of different definitions, depending on who you ask. But kind of like I mentioned before, it's anything that's either deep inside us or far beyond us. It's something that can mean something different to different people. So it can be connecting with your inner self. It can be your personal thoughts and beliefs about life, about the world, about things beyond life and the world, to God, to a divine source, to universal energy, to humanity, to nature, all of these things. It's that personal connection that you have to non-physical things in your life. It can be something as simple as, the awe that you feel when you go on a hike in the mountains, or it can be the peace that you feel when you meditate, or the joy that you might feel if you sing hymns in your church. And so what do I mean when I say we need to talk about a woman's spirituality, about a feminine approach to spirituality? A lot of what I'm going to be talking about is going to be connected to Western Christianity, also to the LDS faith at some points. That's my background. I also want to, at some point, pull in guests who can talk about different approaches to spirituality, to religion that are non-Western, that are non-Christian, because those are just as important. And so going back to, what is women's spirituality? I think a lot of times we don't realize that so much, especially in the Western world, so much of how we approach spirituality is something that is defined by a very masculine approach. It has a lot to do with hierarchy, authority, masculine images of what deity even looks like. It has more rigidity of structures and rituals. It tends to be very structured, very black and white. There's a lot about, sin and justice and logic. And so a lot of us just think, oh, well, that's religion and that's spirituality. That's how I need to approach spirituality. And honestly, that's just not true. Some of those things that are the more masculine side of religion aren't necessarily wrong. Structure and ritual and, sin and justice and logic, those are good things. It's not like we don't want those things. But we need a balance of those things. And we need, as women, to be able to define spirituality for ourselves. Because so much of it has been defined by someone else, and especially by men and a masculine point of view, which again, we're not men bashing here. We're women supporting. We want as women to be able to have the power to say, this is what I believe about deity. This is a feminine image of deity. These are feminine values of how I approach that deity, how I worship that deity. These are, if I don't worship a deity, these are just how I connect to the feminine aspects of my inner life, of my outer life, my care of the earth, my compassion, my fierceness, like all of these things that come from a feminine side, and all of these things that are so vital for us to be able to see a deity in our image, a divine woman, so that we're not completely alone, so that we don't feel like we're on the outskirts of whatever religion and spirituality is. So if women can't be part of divinity, part of shaping it and defining it and literally seeing ourselves as it, then we will forever be seen and forever see ourselves as less. If all that is holy and spiritual and powerful and beyond is always male, then we don't belong there. We don't have a place. We need to have that place, because we do have that place, and we just need to be able to claim it, to be it, and to own it. So in the past few years, I've had so many incredible experiences of beginning to define my own spirituality and connect to my concept of the divine. And I firmly believe that, in a sense, there are as many gods as there are human beings in the world, because no matter what we believe about a god, a source, a divinity, that is completely different from anyone else around us. No matter if we are in the same religion, if we're in the same family, we're all so different in how we connect and in how we even view what divinity and spirituality is. So I am so excited to get started on this channel. I have so many resources I can't wait to share. I cannot wait to help and to find and to share and to hear from you all of the healing and empowerment and joy that comes of finding your own feminine spirituality and finding your own feminine divinity inside and outside. So I am gonna share with you a few of the resources that we're gonna be covering. One of them is, this is Merlin Stone, Ancient Mirrors of Womanhood, and it's an incredible book. It's got stories of goddess mythology from around the entire world, and we're going to explore different goddesses, how they were viewed, what all of its, what different traits and parts of femininity they represented. And it's just gorgeous. There's so many, we can't even go through them all. I firmly believe every woman on earth needs to read Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. She uses story to talk about femininity, and particularly the feminine part of us that we kind of have hidden, that we've been blocked from, that we block ourselves from, and how to find that part of ourselves, that wild inner self, that feminine inner self. And I love how she approaches it. We're going to be doing a lot of approaching things through story, and we're going to even kind of rewrite certain stories and myths that have, I believe, harmed women on a spiritual front. And then finally, this is The Dance of the Dissident Daughter by Sue Monk Kidd. And oh my gosh, I've marked the heck out of this book. I'm going to be pulling a lot from this book, especially at the beginning. And I highly, highly recommend, especially if you are coming at this from a Christian background. It's a beautiful exploration of her experience going through finding the divine feminine from where she started at a Christian perspective. And like I said, we're not just going to stick with Christian perspectives. We're going to try and explore a variety of different approaches, different viewpoints. I'm going to be bringing on people who actually live those viewpoints and can tell us more about them. And I highly recommend all of these books. I would recommend starting with this one, honestly. Even if you're not Christian, there's a lot of just Christian worldview that's kind of embedded so much into Western society. And seeing her transition through that and working through that is so eye-opening and gorgeous and moving. And I really recommend it. So, keep in mind that a lot of the things I talk about, not all of it's going to be for everyone. That's okay. That's part of what I think is women's spirituality. We don't have to be this one orthodox way. This is how we do it. We only see things this way. We only do things this way. We are individuals, and we can build a community of people who see things differently, who can teach us, who we can teach them. And so take what resonates with you and leave the rest. If it doesn't fit for you, that's fine. I'm not an authority on all of this. I am authority on me. And so I'm going to share my experiences and share some of these books from wiser women than me. And hopefully together, we are all going to become wise women. We're going to rise up in a sisterhood of women who are connected to ourselves and are connected to the larger universe around us in ways that will really help us to rise and be who we truly can be. And I am so excited to do this. I am so excited to have you join me. And I look forward to seeing you in future videos.